I got my best band outfit on right now because today we're going to be talking about shooting music videos for bands. So let's jump right into it. Shooting for bands takes a bit of a different approach than shooting for solo acts. They can come with a few of their own little challenges. So today I will disclose a few of the things that I've learned and hopefully get you feeling confident when it comes to shooting for band music videos. Starting with the wide shots first, just makes sense for most shoots. When you light the wides and set them up first, it makes the close-ups that much easier. Make sure you leave yourself some room in the foreground so you can play around with different lenses other than just the wide angle. I like to use a 25mm or wider. I like less of a fisheye characteristic personally, but it can work for some shoots. I use 3 different lenses on set, which covers me from 14mm to 150, and I can get everything shot with just these 3 zoom lenses. Using your knowledge of lighting to set your scene for the wide shots, if you have enough power in your lights, it shouldn't be a problem when you're switching to the close-ups from the wides. By being bold enough to actually leave lights in your scene, it can help to reduce the stress of having to avoid them and also limit your movement. Here's a scenario where I actually hid the stands in the back of the scene, but I had the backlight sticking out so you could just see it from the back. Backlights are a great way to separate your subject from the background. If you look at many cinematic images, one thing a lot of them have in common is the backlight. Most shows and movies filmed on sets have lights placed everywhere on the ceiling, which isn't always possible in your location. Backlights aren't necessary, but they do help to bring a certain polish to your scenes, especially if your video is mostly based around performance shots. If you can't hang lights from the ceiling, you can try to use a C-stand to boom the lights overhead. Without getting too in depth on either one specifically, I'll just give you a very general rule that I've learned when shooting band performance videos. If you want to light faces, a soft light is your best bet. Now you're going to need a lot of power and a lot of light when it comes to shooting a 4 or 5 member band. You can use softboxes placed on either side, a light source on either side with a scrim or reflector to soften the light. You can also use one big softbox that can go up high enough and be a top-down light as well. Bouncing light or using a scrim could also be an option if you have the power. Now for hard light. You're best off putting them somewhere behind the subject. The harsh light behind the subject is usually a nice classic look. As always, these are not hard and fast rules, but simply a suggestion. So if you're feeling like you're unsure of how to tackle a band performance scene, this is what you can start off with. Bands tend to want everything in their performance videos. I'm likely to be the bearer of bad news when it comes to what they can and can't put in the frame. I like to tell the band to stick with only what is necessary and what can be seen. For the guitarist, leave your pedal board at home. Unless there is a very specific need to bring it, I say don't bother. Drummers should also only have a kit where every piece is used. Don't bother with extra stuff, it will only take longer to set up and time is money on set. If you're working with a band, make sure you have ample power for a PA system. You will need playback to be super loud to be heard over the drums. Ideally, you want everyone to be playing the song perfectly, but if you had to choose the 3 most essential things that must be timed perfectly, they are the vocals, the cymbals, and the snare. Hey guys, little editor note here. What I'm really trying to say is that if there's anything that stands out in the song, you just want to capture that separately and then make sure that that fits with the visuals of what you're actually recording. Okay, let's get back to the video. Most other instruments can be faked. Guitarists and bassists basically just have to move and pretend that they know their part, unless they have a solo. Either way, bassists are safe because they're used to faking it on stage anyway. Thank you guys for watching. If you want more tips like this, I have another video about shooting performance scenes focused on single artists. You can go check that video out in the cards. Gently tap that like button and subscribe if you feel so inclined. My name's Ciprian, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.